I'm doing the screen sharing right now. After that, I will hand over the screen sharing to you, Mr. Wei. Okay, 8:30 now. Are we ready? I will begin the broadcast right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar brought to you by Kenanga Investment Bank in collaboration with Bursa Malaysia and managed by our company Wellford. So today we are very excited to be doing this topic, which is stock market outlook for the second half of 2021. Now, in fact, we have got a very experienced speaker who come and share with us what is his perspective on the market outlook for the next half of the year. All right, so today we have a full house crowd with over 1,000 people registered for this session. So hope you guys are doing all right in this time. So looks like we are also full house right now. Okay, so if you are doing okay and ready for this session, type ready. Okay, let me know. All right, great. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. So my name is Shen Chu. I'll be the moderator for this webinar. So today we're going to look into the stock market outlook for second half of 2021, not only in Malaysia, but we also, our speaker will tell us what is the outlook from the pandemic. Then we'll zoom into the global market. Then we'll talk about the Malaysian stock market. All right. So when will the Fed taper? This is the question that we address in this webinar. So disclaimer in this Can Trade webinar is that whatever we share on this webinar is only for educational purpose. So in no way that we give any recommendation to buy or sell any companies. If you decide to make any investment decisions after today's webinar, so you're 100% responsible for all your investment decisions. All right. So allow me to briefly introduce our speaker today. So Mr. Uy is the managing partner of MRR Consulting, dealing mainly with the business appraisal, investment, and financial training. Now, presently, he is a licensed investment advisor by the Securities Commission of Malaysia. And in fact, Mr. Uy have been frequently invited by Kenanga Investment Bank because based on popular response, he is often the most sought after speaker by Kenanga Group because he often gives very good insight into the market outlook. So today we are very honored to have him back to share with us what is the outlook for the second half of 2021. So without further ado, let me hand over the session to you, Mr. Uy. Are you there?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Hi. Okay. Hi. Good evening. Okay. Great to meet all of you. Okay. Today I will share with you on about four areas: the latest development in COVID-19, the Fed went to taper, and then global and Malaysian market outlook and economic outlooks. Okay. Now, look at the latest development in the COVID-19 and vaccines. Okay. I believe number of us actually, some of us actually, do monitor these new cases, and you notice that actually the number is actually coming down. Okay. Lately the world number, okay, dropped to roughly about 400,000. Okay. If you exclude out the Brazil and India number, roughly, the world today actually roughly about 150,000, 200,000. Okay. So Malaysia is over here. Okay. Now, at one time we actually top 10, but actually, since the MCO, overall cases is coming down. Okay. Now, you need to listen to me the next few minutes. Okay. I would say it's quite important. Okay, really important. Okay. Overall, the world cases actually coming down. Okay. So if you talk about positioning your investment, so you should focus on recovery sectors. Okay. don't look at those those sectors that actually benefit from the pandemic. You notice that the actual performance actually coming down. So what you should do is actually focusing on the recovery sectors. Now, are you ready for this? Okay, so you may ask, why I show this people playing chess. Okay, this actually Penang Chess Open every year, normally we in December. Okay, so all the time, almost every year except for last year, okay, because of the pandemic. Okay, and for those chess players, they love chess, of course they miss this. Okay, now to me, are you ready for this? Don't have to wear masks and attending big events, and like playing chess. You can go out together, your friends, go to pub, go to vacations. Okay, so you can see a lot of people actually already so frustrated. You can see in those in UK, in US, especially US. Okay, right now all during the summertime, they bring their kids to go up to the LA, all these the theme parks. So that's why they don't have to wear masks. So to me, whatever things happen in US right now, you just take about 6 month gap. We should reach this by year end. Okay, we should have this, and we can start to enjoy those big gathering, big seminar, big conference, big gatherings. Okay, so by year end, my view here is actually should be ready by I think by November, December, we don't have to wear masks already. Okay, now a lot of times people say, Mr. Wing, are you sure? I say, trust me. Okay, now the next few slides is my analysis. Okay, now quite important. So far I've not seen anyone doing this out calculations. Okay, now this is actually the numbers in May. I done in May. If you exclude out the numbers, Israel, UK, US, Germany, France, you notice I circle number for Israel 62.8, UK 54.2, US 47.4, Germany 37.9, France is actually 30.6. And these are the people get vaccinated at least one dose on this date in May. Okay, 18th of May. Now look at the numbers here. Okay, my analysis based on this date. Okay, just down the numbers: 62.8, US 47.4, Germany 37.9, France actually 30.6. Okay, from Israel, US, Germany, France. Okay, now you say, why choose these numbers and UK is not 54.2? Now I look through this country after they start vaccinate the people. It means after 23rd of December last year, 2020, the peak number, that means this one they start vaccinate the people. The peaks for Israel is 10,000, US 304,000, Germany 32,000, and France 37. On this date, 21st of May, their cases actually dropped to 27. US 29,000, Germany 8,000, France actually 12,000. So you notice that the cases actually dropped by 99.7, 90.5, 75.1, 75.6. Okay, then you say, why Canada? No, why do you want to choose Canada? Okay, the reason behind this is actually I want to find 4 points so that I can do some interpolation. My background is like first degree is actually actuarial science. I want to find when the percentage of when you get people vaccinated at how many percent, then compared to the peak, actually the cases actually drop by how many percent. So you can see, when you get about 30% first doses, you notice that the cases actually drop by roughly 70%. They say, Mr. Wee, is it sure or not 77%? My my key point here is basically the reason why I'm doing this is actually to find a line, doing some interpolation, then later on do extrapolation to find when 100% of you're vaccinated, the cases actually drop 100% from the peak. Okay, the cases drop 100% from the peak. You notice that Israel's the peak is actually 10,000. Our peak is about 9,000. To me, I think peak is over. Okay, the peak is actually over. I don't think we'll go up to 9,000 again. Okay, so and you notice that the cases you just need to get vaccinated, and we actually get right now today it's about 11% people vaccinated already, and the number is actually going up roughly about 1% per day. Okay, going at faster rates. Okay, now, so you notice that I repeat one more time. Israel 62.8% people vaccinated. The cases dropped by 99.7, almost 100%. No, US about 50%. The cases dropped by 90%. Germany roughly about 40%, dropped by 75%. France roughly about 30%. The cases also roughly about 70%. So, okay, now from the peak, from the peak. Now, these are actually our latest numbers. Okay, we already get 3.6 million vaccinated and 11%. Okay, this is actually the number. If you notice that the announcement every day, I checked through the increase. Roughly, even though our government says 200,000, actually some actually one dose, actually some actually on second dose. So I noticed that the number actually increased roughly about 100,000, and the speed actually getting higher and higher. Okay, so I believe they can actually reach about 150,000 because they want to reach 300,000. Okay, so you would divide by half, roughly 150,000. Okay, now and private hospital start to help the Kementerian Kesehatan, so should be able to get more people vaccinated. And you see the graph later on, you know that the case mean they will get more people vaccinated. Now you can see from here, you times 14 days, the 1 days of July, August, then September this, then cumulative wise, then we're talking about by end of June, we should get 15.4%. That means about 15% get vaccinated. July about 29, right? 29.5 is actually, remember the sound, it's actually 30%, right? August, roughly about 40%. Then September is actually coming to 60%. Okay, September. Now, you look at the graph, it's actually, the speed is actually getting faster and faster. Okay, already 200,000, roughly, the speed. Okay, so some actually one dose, actually the second dose, so roughly about 100,000. Then they say 300,000, then you divide it by half, 150,000. Okay, later stage in July. So now our R0 actually coming down. Okay, good time. Our graph not following on the 1.2, R0 1.2, now it's actually about 0.9, it's actually coming down. If you're not aware, it's actually trending down. Okay, you can see the R0 is actually trending down, the cases also coming down. Okay, so far I would say the Kementerian Kesehatan done quite well in this context. So the next few slides quite important. Okay, now, so based on just now my analysis of those developed country, they actually gone through the experience. Okay, so our recent peak is actually 9,000. So by 15%, there's something here. Remember, June 15%, July 29.5, August 43.7, right? Then September this 37. So you can see from here. Okay, so assuming the numbers 29.5, if you remember just now the France experience, roughly about dropped by 70%, right? This one I use the US experience, roughly about 80%. Okay, in fact, 90%. So if you calculate from the peak here, you drop from the peak here, that means our cases should go down to about 1,000 to 2,000. By June, roughly about 6,007. In fact, right now it's already lower than these numbers already. Okay, another few days, by end of June, another few days, 15 days, I think the numbers should come down to about 4,000. Depends on weekday or weekend. Weekend tend to be lower, weekday tend to be higher. So because of more testing. So now and you can see the France experience roughly 30% drop. I mean the reaching 30%. Then France experience roughly will drop by 70% from the peak, from the peak. So now I ask you, September later, 53%, right? Here, September will be reaching 57.5. So if let's say 57.5, roughly, like the sound you see over here, 50 over, the cases should drop by 90% coming to here, 95 to 95, 99 already. Okay, so my key point here is, okay, why I say to you, you must get ready, because my view here is actually, September, October, you give, let's say, delay 1 month, September, October, by end of October, we should reach, the cases should drop below 1,000 or maybe drop below 500 earnings. Okay, and we actually order more vaccines, cover 130%. So we should have enough vaccines. And you look at the Sinovac and the Pfizer coming in, actually by July, we should be able to get, I think, more than 10 million, that kind of vaccine. So should be no problem. So my view here basically is we need to be optimistic. And we're talking about like November, December, another 2-3 months. I would say by that time, we should be like US, UK right now, don't have to wear masks unless actually, in-house. Then you can go out and have holiday already. So my key point here basically is we need to be really optimistic and buy stocks, buy recovery sector, okay? And you can start to plan your holiday, okay, December. And you notice that, check through the hotel rates, some actually start going up already, okay? So my key point here is actually you need to start to prepare for the economy to open up. Okay, that's why you need to invest in those recovery sectors. Okay, by year end, you think you can go out to overseas for holiday? I don't think so. So most likely you go to which location? Go to where to have your holiday during December month? So most likely you don't have to wear mask. So cuti Malaysia. Cuti Malaysia, you either choose Langkawi, Penang, or Genting. So remember, no? So these are locations. So please don't miss out. Okay, invest. And those recovery sectors. That's why you look at the US. Recent job creation are all hospitality. Those hotel lines, services, all these recovery sectors. The stock price getting higher and higher. So remember, don't miss it. The stock price still cheap, and you need to see, because stock market start factor in 6 months ahead. 6 months ahead, that means June 6 months ahead. We're looking, the market start factor in November. November, don't have to wear masks. Okay, that's why to me, this lockdown should be, slowly, once it's opened up, I don't think we'll go back to the MCO 1.0 already, that kind of strict lockdown already. So you just need to be patient and then and get vaccinated. Okay. Now, US, their target is actually 4th of July, the US Independence Day, to get 70%. So look at the trend right now. Okay. So I don't think they can achieve it, but the cases right now roughly hovering roughly 10,000. Okay. So of course, the case actually up a bit. Okay. This are UK. The case actually dropped to 1,000. Recently actually surged up to 8,000-9,000 because of the the Delta variants. The Indian, or we call it the Delta variants. So that's why. But the key thing is actually, if you look carefully in the numbers, actually, the death cases actually, very low. Like in UK, the death actually below 10 cases, so that should be quite low. I mean, in general, all the vaccine actually quite good in preventing those serious cases. Okay, so to me, we need to be optimistic. Okay, so US, you can see, whatever things happen in US, UK, Europe right now, don't have wear masks, no drinking, gathering, no traveling, all this. You just count 6 months later, you get it in Malaysia. Okay, roughly by year end, November, December. Okay, So my point here is actually, you look at those people like to go up to the pub and drink. My view here is actually, you think Carlsberg Heineken. So my view here is actually the sales this year, of course, actually quite bad. Right now quite bad. But to me, once actually recovery open up next year, the sales will be even more than 2019. Okay, will be more than 2019. Why? Because you actually be locked down for so long that you want to have a holiday, just like what happened in the Israel people celebration until they have stampede. You see the UK people, you see the US people, wow. So this will happen over in Malaysia, and you will drink more than the usual. Okay, in Hokkien, sometimes in Hokkien we call it limpo siu. You will drink more than the normal because you'll be so frustrated and you want to have more gathering every day. Yes, that kind of so excited. You spend more, go out and spend more. So all this will happen. Okay, that's why to me that kind of demand will jump. Hotel, everything will sharp recovery. Okay, once open up. Okay, be prepared for this. Okay, a lot of these stocks, the stock price still very cheap. That's the key message. Now, next part I'm going to talk about here is actually talk about the FOMC meeting. Okay, of course, yesterday at meetings, I stay up at 3 o'clock, 3:30. Listen to J Powell. Okay, he quite nervous, especially talk about the asset purchase. Okay, the central bank buyback bonds. Okay, on the tapering issues. Okay, and he need to read through the text. He's quite nervous. Okay, why? Okay, basically inflation risk getting higher. Okay, so some people says why when actually the last month actually the Fed actually released the minutes of the FOMC meeting, so they noticed that actually a number of participants, this one the extraction from the minutes, they actually discussed that they may appropriate time to discuss on the asset purchase, basically, because until right now the Fed still buy back bond, treasury bond, 80 billions, the MBS 40 billion, total is about 120 billion bond. So that means, in short layman terms, the Fed, despite economic recovery, still printing money 120 billion per month. He's still printing. Make no sense, right? Your economy actually recovery already, the jump to high levels. Why you still need to print money? 120 billions. Okay, this will create hyperinflations. Okay, that's why when people asking him on these questions, he look at the text and read out from the text. They not answer. That's why yesterday night I stay until 3 something. Listen to him on the press conference, within the press. So in March, this is actually March. For those actually attended my session in March from Penang. So at that time, I say that this economy is from Bloomberg's economy, say that, because the Fed like to say, this is actually transitory only. This inflation transitory will come down. Don't worry, transitory until the J Powell and Janet Yellen, keep on saying, don't worry, we'll inform you. It's transitory only, the inflations. In March, I already mentioned to you, for those attended my session, I say that I don't think will be next year. I say that will be this year. Okay, either third quarter or fourth quarter. Okay, cannot be next year. So you look at all these economies at that time on 10th of March, what happened in June? The latest survey, you notice that almost all of them say will be in this year. 1/3 say in September, 1/3 say in December. So basically all say this year. Tahun ini. Okay, the Fed will start to taper. Okay, the main to say to scale down bond buying process. Then you say, why so significant? Why so significant this tapering? Oh, friend, you know what? 2011, 12, 13, during these periods, 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, the moment the Fed start to slow down bond buying process, in short means print less money. the unwinding of carry trade start to happen. That means the US dollar will going to jump higher and higher, and then interest rate will go up higher and higher. So those actually borrow US dollar at cheap interest rates and thought the US dollar will continue to depreciate, then panic, then start to sell down all these emerging market assets, then bring back the money to US. That's how significant this event, okay, have big impact in emerging markets. That's why when Jay Powell on Janet Yellen's, his brother sister, so they're quite careful in reading out the text, okay, because the whole world watch carefully on their statements, okay. But you look at the economists, those read through the numbers, okay. You notice that, and this actually, the June 4 to 10 on Bloomberg survey, okay, this is all extra from Bloomberg, okay. You notice that actually next year, because of no more stimulus, economy is going to come down, okay. But inflation, the economy says actually will slow down, okay, to about 2%. Okay, now this one is actually before the FOMC meetings, the last 2 days. Let me share with you the number from the yesterday's. Okay, this is actually from the Bloomberg surveys again. Now, from second quarters, the expect of the consumer price index, you notice that the April, May, June, the survey, the number actually different, no? And actually, the June numbers actually getting higher and higher in general. They're all wrong. Okay. In fact, inflation getting higher than this. Why? Why? Because very simple. As I said to you, you look at the stampede event on Israel. People so excited, go out and celebrations in April, May, June. Right now, you notice that Europe, US, people's celebration because you're locked down. You're so frustrated, and you go out, definitely you drink more, you spend more, you travel more. Okay, so of course inflation getting higher, and you notice that the commodity prices touching new high. Okay, the inflation number in general in US higher because of the second-hand car rental. The prices jump because of the shortage of the chips. Overall cost of prices getting higher. Then the gasoline prices also getting higher. So that's why the first part of it is actually because of the earlier the cyber attacks on the pipeline. So, but you know that until the summer holiday, you travel more, higher demand. That's why oil prices right now is 70 plus already. We're going to touch 80. Okay, so unlikely to come down. Okay, and key part here is actually one by one, most country they get more people vaccinated. Economy one by one start open up. You notice that the demand getting higher. Okay, and the prices will not go down already for short terms. Okay, later on the border opens, flight, the airport open, then they'll have to resume more flights, have more flights. So international travel will happen. Okay, of course not now. Some places like in Europe already have, in US also have internally. Okay, now this is actually from the Fed. Okay, now this is actually the survey they are excluded in the FOMC. You look through the numbers, the March projections versus now, the GDP revised higher to 7%. So not only the inflation caused by the cost push, later on you have a demand pull inflation as well. Can you see over here? The inflation March says the PCE, the inflation is only 2.4, now it's 3.4. And you can see the range is actually 3 to 3.9. Hey? In 3 months ago, there's only 2.1 to 4.6 only. Then the core inflation is 3%. Now, look at here. This is inside when they have the meetings, they have no projections. You notice that the uncertainty of the inflations all skew higher. The risk of the inflation all skew. The blue color here is actually the recent one. Almost all say higher. So under the PCE also the same, higher. So basically, in general, in fact, some of them predict will be one-time interest rate hike next year. some of the members. So that's why my key point here basically is buy higher inflation, buy which sectors? High inflation, high interest rates, buy banking sectors. So don't miss this opportunity. Okay, remember to buy banking sectors. Okay. Now you can see the US inflation is getting higher. The Fed says transitory. Okay. Oh, it says temporary only lah. It will come down. I agree with this statement. Yes, transitory. Let me share with you Bank Negara numbers. Okay, these are our Bank Negara. This one from Bank Negara, recent one. Okay, we announced the first quarter results. So this is for projection for inflation in Malaysia. It says that our Malaysia inflation will jump up to April, May 6.5 to 7. No, walao, inflation. Nanti you tengok tu inflation jump to 6.5 to 7. Wow. Then you open the newspaper, inflation 7. Alamak, collapse, right? Okay. The key issue here is I agree. This is transitory. Yes, it's transitory. However, you notice that Bank Negara says this inflation will come down, but not going back to the original low level. You will come down, but roughly about 5%, below 5%. So average about 4% plus, I would say. Yes. This US as well, you see, this is about 3% plus, right? Yes. The Fed rate is actually 0.1%. The key issue here is the inflation rate in US right now, 5%, will not go back to 1%. You will go down and stay roughly about 3-4%. Oh yeah, can you see over here? That's why my key point basically is the Fed, because the Fed rate is only 0.1%. So I think may not increase interest rate this year, but likelihood next year, I would say second half next year, likelihood we should see higher interest rate already. Will not wait until 2023. Definitely will not. Okay. Now, so I repeat, the meaning transitory, I agree that yes, transitory, also Malaysia also transitory, but the key thing is actually, my point is, after this, because US have a lockdown last year, April to June. Malaysia also the same, April to June last year. So of course your lower base, then the number jump to higher levels. Then it says that then the number will come down. The issue here is the number may not go back to the low levels here. The number will stay at 3-4%. Our OPR rate is actually 1.75. So likelihood, I'm not saying that we'll increase interest rate right now. Maybe year end on first quarter of next year, we're likely to see high interest rate already. Okay. So take note of this. Okay, this is our bank, and this actually, the April survey, a lot of US economy says that from Bloomberg, 66% start to see US overheating. You notice that the Fed member also see the risk, inflation risk higher. Okay, this the dotted line is actually March number, March survey, but June you see the recent one, or see higher already. Okay, the risk is quite high. Okay, so not careful because you printed 1.9. US last year printed 4 trillion. So beginning of the year, the Biden actually, rescue package print another 1.9 trillion. So we printed 6 trillion, and this 6 trillion already 50% more than 2008 financial crisis. You remember 2008 financial crisis, you printed 4 trillion. Now pandemic, but the issue here is actually pandemic is actually going to over soon, coming down already. So that's why, okay, US going to reach that kind of below 10,000, 5,000. Some days now weekend actually about 5,000 only. So it's going to go down lower and lower. So my view here is basically you printed it's actually 50% more than your 2008 financial crisis. Of course. And your economy getting better, of course, going to have overheating. Okay. Now you look at the US gasoline price, 3.16. Okay. In fact, this number is actually higher than 2018. Okay. And now summer holiday, demand getting higher, people go out. American like to drive, wow, sightseeing, summer holiday. Yes. Okay. Yes, go out. Okay, you see the celebration, the demand went higher. Okay, that's why prices will go higher. Now, another things actually, recently caught some surprise is actually, the China producer price index actually also jumped because of all these higher commodity prices. So my point here is actually, so this will bring inflations, okay? Because China is actually the biggest manufacturer in the world. So of course, if let's say, the producer actually facing higher commodities, they'll pass to the consumers. So you notice that actually getting higher, okay? Now, that's why when they report the J Powell yesterday, when he say, talk about this inflation, the bond yield immediately jumped to 1.56. You ask me, to me, this number will go higher. Okay, U-turn already. Okay, hidden here is actually 1.56 here. Later on, you will see this trend will go up higher to 2%, later on 3%. Okay, when the inflation getting higher and higher. So to me, we need to be very careful. If not careful, we'll go into this super cycle in commodities. Okay, later on I'll share with you. If you're not careful, with high demand, suddenly high demand, okay, to the fact it says that, oh, these are short-term inventory will sort it out later on. My view here is actually, you notice that the commodity price remain high, the freight price also remain high. So that's why all this will you reflected in the prices. Okay. So basically, we already recovered from the inverted yield curve 2 years ago. So, and this bond yield will go higher and higher. Okay, you can see here getting higher. Okay. Now, be careful of those speculative stocks. Okay, assets like Bitcoin, crypto assets, SPAC, and meme stocks. So in general, you notice that all these recently go through. My view here is basically will go through corrections. Okay, the SPAC prices will continue to come down. Then same as the Bitcoin prices. So the Bitcoin to me, looking at the trend, the China go after all these miners. So I think quite difficult for Bitcoin to go up 40,000 and above to 50,000 or 6,000 again. To me, it's actually quite difficult. Okay, so in general, the Bitcoin price will come down. Okay, so that's why be careful on all those meme stock, Bitcoin, speculative assets. All this to me, all these assets, the prices will come down. Okay. Now look at the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. In general, the Nasdaq basically, my view here is the economic recovery. Tech sectors actually, that benefit from the pandemic last year. I think quite tough already. People will go out and buy things, will spend less time online. So of course, the tech sectors, you ask me how low you will drop, I will say it's roughly about 12 or 13,000. Okay, short-term correction possible from now until normally this period until July. It's quite tough. Okay, quite tough. Okay, so I'll say it's until maybe July. Market will go through some corrections. Okay, Nasdaq or Dow Jones also the same. Okay, of course there are some window dressing at the end of the month, but then after that, market in general start to factor in, especially the second quarter results going to announce in July. Okay, so the effect of earlier on, the fact that she spent 1.9 trillion, you start to see the consumer spending actually getting lower already. So I think that some tech company start to report weaker performance already. Okay, will factor in the second quarter results in the second half of the July, third week onwards from July. Okay, so that's why you don't have to rush in to buy. Long term wise, to continue to be good, just that the short term some correction possible. Okay, Dow Jones also the same. Okay, some corrections. Okay, but long term wise continue to be good. Just that short term wise, please take note. Market need to factor in all this. The Fed may need to taper it. So that's why when the minutes come out, they notice that they discuss. I believe that the way the the numbers, I think they actually discuss these issues when they taper it. So J-Pulse yesterday says that the right timing to discuss in the meeting. So basically, indirectly, they actually discuss and actually going to do it roughly the next few meetings. Okay, so that's why market will start factor in. So key thing is actually some facts, some to highlight, some give some hint before the meeting. So you will see it before the meeting, some hint. That means they're going to discuss and make decision ready. So they'll print less money. You see the iron ore prices remain high. Okay, recently the correction, right? Remain high. Of course, our palm oil recently go through some corrections, so that's why higher output, soybean also higher output. But in general, people see we should be at roughly about 3,007, 3,008 levels. So, but recently gone through some corrections. Okay, palm oil, Baltic Dry Index in general, the shipping rates remain high. So until now, so that's why you ask me, all this will translate into prices, consumer prices. Okay, so that's why tough. So given the kind of high demand, high commodity prices, high input prices, all this definitely, if we're not careful, we may enter into the super cycle. Okay, so we will actually a lot of central banks have printed money, and suddenly your COVID cases actually drop to sharply lower. You can see the cases drop from lower and lower because more people vaccinated. So like Malaysia right now from 5,000 plus compared to the peak 9,000, we already dropped more than, in fact, my earlier forecast actually to you is actually 25% only. So in fact, dropped by 30% plus already. So my view here is basically, if actually come a weekend less testing, the cases may drop to about 3,000-4,000. Okay, so my view here is basically, in general, is the trend actually coming down already because more people vaccinated. Okay, the speed will getting faster and faster. Then global Malaysian economic outlooks. Okay, in general, all these numbers will revise higher. Like US, you notice that the Fed actually forecast 7% this year. Then it says that next year will come down. Okay, yes, I also expect because no more stimulus already. So those American right now, you notice that actually they do have job, but don't want to work because of the 300 extra 300 benefits. So, but all these extra benefits, unemployment benefits, will expire in September. So that's why the number after September will be crucial. Okay, China in general, I would say, should be able to, but China recently, you don't see actually things slowing down also. Okay, things slowing down. Okay, because China last year benefit from the people, suffering for pandemic, you actually not. So that's why everything orders go to you. So but nowadays actually people actually open up, they manufacture by themselves already. So that's why things actually slowing down in China. Okay, because earlier last year numbers actually the benefit, the medical sector actually benefits. Okay, the healthcare medical sector actually benefits. Malaysia wise, of course, with this our MCO 1.0 type, of course the GDP may not be 5%, may not be 6.5. I would say it will be roughly below 6%, maybe 4-5% only. Okay. So key things here, we should be okay. That's why I say to you, we should be okay. Okay. Now, US economy in general, you look through the initial jobless claim continue to trend lower. And no longer the peak levels continue to trend lower. And you can see from here the job data creations continue to be good. 559,000 jobs created within a month, and mainly come from hospitality. That's why the gaming sector, hotel line, all this recover. So that's why, remember, don't miss out. The stock price still cheap. Okay. Then unemployment getting lower. Okay. GDP numbers, July, they're going to report the second quarter GDPs. So of course, you will see the jump very high GDP numbers. Okay, first quarter is 0.4. You can imagine, whole year is 7%. So most likely the second quarter you will see more than 10%. Okay, so of course, no market may jump. Okay, that's why you cannot be too negative. So once they've gone through some corrections in early July, so prices cheap, buy already. Don't wait until they announce the GDP numbers. The GDP number will be very good. Okay, for second quarter. Okay, the US sentiments getting higher. Okay, that's why good printed money. Then all this, later on may infrastructure, all this plan. Okay, so US economy in general actually continue to recover. So basically, Biden actually have no problem for next year midterm elections. So Democrats should be okay. Okay, can win easily in general. Okay, so retail sales. Okay, start to see the slowdown already because of they open up. The lower base effect start to slow down already. China also facing this problem. Okay, normalized level already. Then the manufacturing continue to be good. Okay, orders continue to be good. Then the inflation, the industrial productions, because of lower base last year, that's why the jump higher. Okay. Then now next part is talk about China economy. Okay, so in general, okay, China economies, GDP, you will see this because of the China lockdown actually in first quarter. That's why you see the lower base effect. Okay, base effect. That's why 18% jump. You will see US more than 10% jump. Okay, in July. So of course, suddenly you report this number, market will go up. Everyone was so happy. Yes. So that's why you cannot be too negative on US market. If you any stocks that you want to buy, the prices drop cheap, then you just buy already. Okay. Then manufacturing, some slowdown. As I said to you, slowing down. Okay. In general, China actually worried about the asset bubbles. So they're go after all the commodity, they go after the Bitcoin miners, go after the tech stocks, all this. Okay, because they worry property as well. They increase the tax on the 12th of May. The tax, both property tax. So they actually worry about the property bubble. They worry about the asset bubble. So they worry. Okay. So to me, my key point here is actually when people say you have problems, then you say, yes, I have problems. So I'm doing my best to solve the problem. To me, this is not a problem. So people say, there's asset bubble, property, maybe property bubble. So some of the bond actually default. So people say you have problem, then you say, yes, I have problem. I do my best to solve my problem. To me, this is not a problem. What I worry is actually when people say you have problem, then you say you don't have problem. That is a problem. When people say US, your inflation we're going to go out of control. So you have problem, then you say you don't have problem, it's transitory only, no problem. I continue to print money, no problem. That is a problem. Okay. When people say you have a problem, then you say you don't have a problem, and that is actually the problem. So to me, if not careful, just like Janet Yellen, if you look through during Obama time, she actually slow to react to inflations. You look at the way she talked recently, say she rather to have inflation. So actually she aware of this, but she want to have this inflation. So to me, it's just wait and see. But to us, next year is a tough year. When whole world, the COVID cases drop to almost low levels, and the WHO declared the pandemic is over, and the stock market normally at the peak already. So second half next year is a tough year. Okay, so market will go up all the way up until reach the peak. Then second half until next year. Then after that, next year is a tough year, especially second half next year, when the pandemic officially declared over already. Because people vaccinated already, then the mutation variants also will come down. Okay, so you notice that the China normalized already, the thing slowing down. Okay, you notice that the sound mentioned share with you the producer price index jump to high levels. So all this, you notice that price getting higher. Yes, this one will like export out all the inflations. Okay, increase the product price. Yeah, manufacturing hub in the world. So they're facing all this raw material price that are getting higher and higher. You see the iron ore prices, okay? You see the retail sales actually coming down, slowing down. You start to see in US slowing down a bit, yes, okay. They're also facing higher inflation, but not as high as other countries. They're also facing higher inflations, okay. Now, because of the US dollars, as I said to you, that once the US at the top of tapering in the third quarter or fourth quarter, or you see the U-turn of the US dollar was strengthening further and further, and those doing carry trade one need to unwind the carry trade. Please close the Asia Pacific or emerging market asset and bring back money to US. So US dollar will jump. Emerging market, all this currency will come down. So that's why next year, later on, you will see the ringgit, renminbi also the same, 6.5, 6.6, all this, for renminbi, ringgit also the same, roughly 4.2, 4.3. One thing actually good for Malaysia is because of high oil prices, we will benefit, our revenue will go up. So if let's say prices jump to 80, 90, of course, we will benefit. So government in general also have more monies. Okay, we should be okay. Okay, that's why our ringgit, I don't think will drop to low levels. Okay, so stock market also going through some corrections recently. Okay, now Malaysia. Okay, so Twin Tower, the best place to take this picture is actually in Public Bank, in front of Public Banks, the traffic light there. Take the pictures of the KLCC tower, Twin Tower. So basically, our economy depends on two factors. One is actually, how fast get vaccinated, and then one is actually a stimulus. So in general, Bank Negara says that this year it's about 6%. I don't think so. I would say with all this MCO, I would say it's roughly about 4-5% only. And one thing here is actually, you notice that the Bank Negara actually, add in the construction sectors, infrastructure projects continue to carry on. That's why I expect construction sector will recover later on. Then property sectors, the stock price actually in general quite cheap. So I'll say residential property will recover. Tough one is actually on the commercial properties, okay, and retails, okay, but residential should be okay. Okay, then you can see, with stimulus, so of course, those direct physical, recently 5 billion, actually the number is actually getting lower and lower. So we don't have money. So in general, compared to the earlier amounts, recent amount was actually lower. So, but our government actually determined to bring down the cases and more people vaccinated, so then should be okay. That's why I say to you. Then look through the GDPs. This MCO actually I would say is not really MCO 1.0 type. Okay, so in general, a lot of activity I noticed that actually can operate. So that's why we still have cases actually, from those manufacturing sectors cluster. So that's why I expect the impact. If you compare to the MCO 1.0 type, the kind of drop, I think it's actually less. More and more people actually buy online already. Okay, so of course, compared to MCO 2.0, 3.0 type, so the numbers still lower. So physical spending definitely will continue to be affected, but people will buy more things actually online already. Okay, so, and as I said to you, the first quarters, okay, were doing quite well, but you see the second quarter numbers, I think so go down again because of the overall lockdown, May, June numbers. So I think manufacturing services all were affected. Okay, construction, everything will be affected. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you, the oil prices, my view here is basically oil prices in general were going to go up to 80, 90. We are not talking about the borders open yet. No? So once actually, by next year, more and more, that kind of bubbles created, basically, like, Australia with New Zealand, later on, Europe with US, all this, then international flight, resume. Then people say, now, when China will open, okay, I think China will be almost towards the last one to open out their borders. They're quite careful, okay, because on this virus still mutate. So, so one actually, more and more, opens, borders opens. That's why, the flight resume. Then you see, maybe, by end of the year or beginning next year. So you see in Malaysia and Singapore will create bubble, the flight, start to have that kind of, when our numbers actually reaching 50, 60%. You don't have to reach roughly 50, 60%, the cases will drop to very low levels. So I think by that time, actually, I think we will able to travel to Singapore already. So we'll create bubble from there. Okay. And that's why I said to you, roughly about 6-month gap only, the delay. Okay. So of course, with that kind of scenario, more and more open up, then the oil prices will go higher. Then people say, what if I say, Iran start to export oil? Basically, US actually want to have leave all this economic sanction on the Iran. So that's why the supply will increase. But at the moment, I think it's unlikely to happen by August. So in general, all these OPEC members will cut down, don't have to less production, because they want to increase supply already. Okay, so to me, the oil prices will continue to go up higher. Okay, and with this new prime minister, the Bennett, I'll say, I think they are against on this Iran deal. So to me, I don't know how the US going to settle on leave economic sanctions. So this new prime minister appear to be again more against actually on this Iran deal. Okay, so but I don't think the oil prices will jump up to $100 plus to 120. I don't think so. But to touch 80 plus 90 possible anytime. Okay. Our industrial production, because of lower base, that's why it increased. But of course, in the upcoming 1 or 2 months, numbers actually will go down because of lockdown. Okay. Then manufacturing also slowing down. Okay, you can start to see the impact of May numbers, or you start to see May numbers actually coming down already. Okay, the impact of MCO. Then the Malaysian ringgit, as I said to you, because of the strengthening US dollars, I would say ringgit may go down to 4.2, 4.3 possible, because a sudden jump in the US dollars can happen. One, the Fed start to say going to taper only, slow down all this bond buying, you will see US dollar jump already. Okay, so all the currency in the world, that's why those people actually know that continue to borrow money, US dollars. Okay, they borrow US dollars and invest in emerging markets. So they bet on the Fed to continue to print money. So suddenly, the moment the Fed actually the say going to taper it, don't want to print so much 120 billion money per month already, or but printing about maybe from 120 billion print go down to 100, and then go down to 80, that kind of magnitude, you will see the US dollar will jump higher and higher already. Then those people borrow US dollars need to unwind the position. Okay, we call it unwind carry trade. Okay, they'll panic, double with higher interest rates. So of course they panic. So then you will see this the bond yield also will go down. Okay, I mean will go up again. Okay, higher interest rates environments. Okay, when our Bank Negara will increase interest rates, OBR rates right now is 1.75. I think of course definitely not July, also not in September. I'm not too sure in November. If not November, likelihood first quarter already. Okay, I think will happen. Okay, because as I said to you, our inflations may not come down to, you see, 5%. It means roughly about 3-4%. 3-4% actually, you put money in the bank only can get 1.75. Of course, cannot cover for your inflations. So I think the third quarter is still Bank Negara forecast. Okay, so this is transitory. Yes, I mentioned to you earlier. So, but the issue here, my key point here is this: once the inflation come down in third quarter, but the issue here, if let's say commodity price continue to be high, when more and more borders open, then you see a U-turn in the inflation. That means up, down, then after that, U-turn up. Oh, the whole world, you see the commodity continue to high, not coming down, then people start to panic already. So oil prices remain high, commodity prices remain high, then the demand continue high. So to me, it's actually tough because country actually printed a lot of money. So and economy continue to open up. And then suddenly the pandemic is actually over. So that's why in all countries, they open up immediately, the demand high. So all this impact will cause high inflations. So, and if let's say, not careful, will create, as I say to you, super cycles. Okay, that's why our inflation that Ben Negara said to you, you do not get surprised when you open up this newspaper, the number is actually 6.57. April, May number. Okay, then stock market outlooks. Okay, now my last few slides. In general, market actually to me, of course, the people are uncertainties of politics, they kind of things. Parliament open, no more darurat. Okay, not too sure. I'm not too sure. So, by of course, these political risks and coupled with the regional markets, the Dow Jones drop, all this, of course, going through some corrections. Okay, but to me, these are I don't think will drop to 2005 levels. But to me, it's actually hovering around this level, 1550, hovering plus minus that levels. Okay, but please take note. Once our numbers getting the vaccinated up to about 30%, that means to say by June roughly, 30%. Okay, because about 1% right now, about 1% per day. So, but middle of June next year, middle of July next month, you'll see the number actually, vaccinated roughly 30%. Then our cases drop 2% to about 2,000 levels. And you remember earlier on, we actually may open up certain sectors already. So that's why we should not be too negative. Okay, all this will contribute to higher economic growth, and all those recovery sectors will continue to grow higher. Okay, so take note, and you must be positive. Okay, cannot be negative, and buy recovery sectors. Avoid those sectors actually benefit from the pandemic. So you ask me, all those PPE lah, glove, you notice that the share price continue go higher. Like glove, you notice that you hopefully no one report the results. Because each time any glove company report the result, and you notice that analysts revise lower the target price. And not only revise that particular stocks actually announce results, the stock price, they announce because other glove stocks also go lower. So to me, you notice that actually, the cases go lower and lower because the world today, more and more people actually get vaccinated. Okay, so you may say that UK cases actually still jump up, but he thinks actually the death cases actually drop to low level, and all these vaccines are all effective preventing severe illness, so severe case, so ICU case. So that's why it's effective. Okay, and please get vaccinated so that economy will open up and we'll go back to normal. That's why to me, I expect things actually will come down to the ones actually 30-40%. We see the cases drop very fast. Okay, then stock market will go higher and higher already. Okay, so these periods, any price weakness will be buying opportunity, especially for all those banking stocks, recovery sectors, Genting Malaysia, recovery sectors, Tenaga, all this, price chip, all blue chip share. It's a good opportunity to buy blue chip shares. Airport. So you must invest all this recovery sector, then you are okay already. Okay, try to avoid all those sectors that actually benefit from all this pandemic. To me, need to refocus and need to look beyond that. We actually don't have to wear masks in November and December. Remember, final lockdown already. These are the final lockdown. So later on will open up slowly already. So, and once that open up slowly, the stock market will go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So I scared is actually when you see prices higher, you don't want to buy already. You say, yo, at that lower price, how to buy right now? Because those people say, you ask them to buy something, yo, $3, you don't buy now, $5, how to buy? The moment $8, they say, are you $8, how to buy right now? That's $10. Still can buy or not? Always like that. Still to buy, you know, they come to $10, you see, I'm selling already. So key point here is basically focus on recovery sector, then you should be okay. Banking stocks, up to you. Okay, all okay. Okay. Okay, that's all for tonight. Okay, thank you. Pass back to Shane.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ui, for sharing your insight with us about what is your perspective about the second half of 2021. So if you have any questions for Mr. Ui, our speaker today, please write in the Q&A box. And for those of you who are tuning in from YouTube, write in the live chat and then we will address your question there. But due to we have over 1,000 people on the line right now, so we can only address maybe less than 10% of the questions today. So yes, let me go to the first question. I think Mr. Ui, you have talked at length about opportunity to go into the banking stock and recovery team stocks. How about technology? I think many of us many of people are asking about technology.
Technologies,
stocks.
my view here is basically in general technology sectors, I would say the prices will come down because people spend less time. One economy open, you spend less time, and then you buy more things from the physical shop. Okay, so those tech sectors, like US, all this, Apple, Amazon, all this, of course, the sale will be affected, and they will drag down overall on all those tech sectors. Okay, so because these are heavyweight. Okay, but in general, I would say is that the long-term prospects remain good. Okay, any price weakness and short opportunity to buy, but short-term wise, I would say it's quite limited. Okay, given the China continue to want to bring down all these tech sectors, so of course they affect the sentiment as well. So to me, short-term wise, may go through some corrections. Okay, in fact, they actually some actually start coming down already. So let it come down. So cheap, then you buy. Okay. So at the moment, to me, it's actually focus on the recovery. Tech sectors, like I say to you, like Apple, Amazon, all this, they benefit from the lockdown. But once actually open, economy opens, people will buy it less online. Of course, the result will be affected. So wait for the result come out. So if let's say the report that result and the share price will come down, to me, it's the time to buy the tech stocks. Okay.
How about the local semiconductor companies? What is your view?
Short-term wise, actually remain good. Okay. Chips shortage, yes, but this no shortage of chips are basically the low-end chips, the 12 nanometers, all these, 28 nanometers for chips. It's actually lower-end chips. So to me, at the moment, they are actually short supply. But to me, all this, be careful. In fact, a lot actually start to produce more. Okay, so to me, next year I'm worried about next year. So short-term wise, one they actually settle on this shortage of chips. So to me, 1 year later, you will see the things actually stabilize. Then they'll be affected already. So semicons is actually a cycle. So one actually oversupply situation, then it will take years to come back. So to me, it's actually these are short-term issues. Of course, because of the now moving to the EV cars, the increase of the chip demand. Short-term wise, remain to be good. But some may notice that it should price in already. That's why the share price actually not moving. Okay, as compared to those recovery sectors. Okay.
All right. So the next question is oil and gas. Many also asking, is it the right time to invest in the oil and gas counter right now?
Oil and gas counters at the moment, you notice that actually they remain cheap. Okay, you can buy. Okay, but don't expect to jump until that. As I said to you, the Brent oil to jump to 100 plus, that kind of situations. I don't think will happen. Okay, because nowadays you notice that you talk about renewable energies. So even the big oil and gas companies, Chevron, all these, BP, all this also divert to renewable energy or clean energy. So that's why you notice that the capex in this area actually less. You notice it actually less. So I would say some oil and gas company may have benefit because a lot actually depend on the Petronas, on spending on the capex. So if I say the scale down on the capex, some actually will not benefit. So that's why to me, only selective only can perform well. So short term wise in general, oil and gas company will go higher, okay, but don't expect to be very high. Okay, that's actually my view.
Okay. There are also a few person who would like to ask your view on Serba dynamic. Okay, so I think this is a very popular question recently. So what would you recommend the assisting shareholders to do? Should we cut loss, or what do you recommend the people who are waiting to buy bottom?
Okay. If you look at the academic research on ESG, environment, social governance, so nowadays actually governance issues actually a big issues. So basically, people actually worried about this. Want to remove the auditors. So of course, they recently actually appoint the another independent auditors, EY, to have a review. So to me, wait for the review. Don't do anything yet. Okay, wait for a review. Of course, if you talk about the total revenue of 3 billion, actually, it's a lot. So if you talk about holding actually impairment, of course, I also not too sure. Okay, then of course the wrap up of the equity. So then of course the appointment of the new independent directors. So some actually have experience actually in SC. So I think wait and see. But one thing here is actually, as I said to you, the academic research show that if any company, when they actually improve the ESG, that means environment, social, and governance, from weak to become better, then you see the share price actually jump higher and higher. So, but to me, at the moment, you can see some actually, actions doing to gain back the investor confidence. But you look at the sell down, all the fund not buying. So to me, if you have, I think, I don't know how to give advice. My view here is actually, if you don't have, better wait for the further clearer pictures. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, actually, hold. I mean, that not really a buying opportunity yet. Okay. Wait until clearer pictures. Okay, because we don't know what actually the reason behind the argument behind the want to remove the KPMG. So wait for the EY. Okay, Big Four I think should be able to give confidence. Okay, and the new independent directors actually let them see the whole thing. So what they're doing now is actually try to gain back that kind of investor confidence, and this is actually good. Okay, but wait for the further clear pictures rather than at that time only invested in. Okay.
Okay. There are also a few questions asking about your opinion on furniture stocks.
The furniture wise, some of them actually benefit from because of the lockdown. Lockdown, you want buy new cabinet, new TV, new table, because spend more time at home. So of course will benefit. Okay, with this new pandemic, some actually renovation, all this, yes. But these are still short terms. Okay, but you ask me whether next year will continue to benefit from this, unless they start to go back, they need to change the setup because of to make sure that more ventilations, so only can allow employee to come back. Okay, so some relocations to new building, office building. So that kind of demand may happen. Okay, so and then but kidding is actually those household, home furnitures, I think the demand will be less already when people start going back to office already. But you have another new demand coming from the office renovations. Okay.
Okay. So just now you mentioned about the commodity super cycle. So what is your view on the crude palm oil? And then what is your view also on the sectors, since you mentioned about that?
My view here is actually normally second half actually high productions. So the prices actually dropped to about 3,004, 3,004. Okay, so of course, quite a big drop. Okay, and you can see, the normally second half of the year is actually normally high productions, and you see better weather in US. Soviet also dropped. Okay, you can see from the Dalian as well. The price actually dropped. So to me, overall, the outlook wise, because of the better weather, okay, so temporary going through some corrections, but I don't think the prices will drop to very low levels. Okay, the demand remain high. You can see that China continue to buy a lot of soybeans, import a lot of soybeans. So I would say that the price will not drop to very low levels. Okay, the demand remain high. So this to me is actually a temporary. Okay, but of course, our plantation company actually affected by the low productions because of shortage of labors. So I would expect them to solve this one borders opens. Of course, then the foreign workers actually can come in Malaysia. Then you see the production actually may increase. Okay. So to me, I don't think the prices will drop to low levels. Okay, that's my view. I will agree with the view that the price will stay around, may not be 4,000 plus, maybe hovering around 3,000, 3,007, 3,008 levels. That will be the levels. Okay.
Okay, since we are on commodity topic, so would you also comment on gold price? Where do you see it heading?
Short term wise, because of the strengthening US dollars, of course, gold prices will come down. But if we're actually entering into that kind of hyperinflation, people worried, then people may switch to gold. So to me, at the moment, if a strengthening US dollars, of course, gold will be weak. But if later on, if let's say not careful, okay, turn into that kind of hyperinflation, then people worry about the US dollars, then gold will go higher. So at the moment, strengthening US dollars is actually not good for gold. Okay, so until that happens, so it depends on the Fed. But you notice that the Fed member actually they will start to see. You see just now I shared with you earlier on the slides. Okay, so the Fed actually start to see it. They start to worry. You see here. Here, you see this actually the release yesterday. Okay, the latest one. Okay, you start to see that they actually quite worried. The inflations, risk of inflations. So they know, they're fully aware. Okay, so you also need to take note. Okay, so hopefully they'll do something. Okay, to not let it out of control. So faster tapering will be good. That's why people will expect it to be, and then economists will expect it to taper in September and December. So of course, it will create some kind of hoo-ha in the markets. Okay, but this is actually good. If they don't do it, delay it, then it will be risk ready. You continue to print money, that kind of no asset purchase, is actually not good. Okay, yeah, pass back to you. Yeah.
Okay. Also, I noticed there are also a few questions on airline stocks. Could you comment on that?
Airline stocks, of course, Air Asia actually will recover. Basically, you want to talk about Air Asia. So, of course, Air Asia at the 90% actually will recover, of course, because the market will start looking at the recovery in more flights. Actually, people can actually don't have to wear masks. People will travel, but you actually internally, okay. So you cannot cross borders, but internal flights you will have high demands. Okay, when you don't have to wear masks, that kind of things. So of course, will recover. The share price may go $1, $1 plus. However, okay, I'm not too sure whether from now until when, okay, that suddenly Asia announced another restructuring plan. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so you know that actually restructuring plan is actually suddenly call for right issue all this is actually bad news. And you notice that actually they say that they actually every month they're burning about a few hundred million, burning at 300 million about burning per month. So you're not too sure if they can continue to burn how many months. So my view here is actually what we worry is actually on this suddenly an announcement of restructuring plan or that kind of corporate issue. Then already. So if not happen, then of course the share price will go higher. Okay, if let's say they can pull through until October, November, then should be okay. In general, I think I look through, they're quite positive. I think banks say all this quite positive, should be okay. But I cannot guarantee no more on all this restructuring. Okay, nobody knows. Okay, yeah, Robert. Okay, pass back to you.
Okay. You were also quite bullish on the banking sectors just now. So given the non-performing loan is going high and expected to be worse during this FMCO, so how much do you see that it will affect the banking stock versus the good side and the expected OPR rise by the end of 2021?
Key thing here is actually, the people were actually initially worried about the banking stocks. Then they actually worried the last year September. Now after September, actually, then there was December, fourth quarter last year, and discover actually some banking stocks like Maybank, RHB, I think those asked for more extra extension moratorium. I think it's more than 10%, 11 to 15%. Okay, but actually when it comes to first quarter, they discover a lot of them actually report good results. Actually, I think actually recover, and the thing actually not worried. So at the moment, people not too sure on this second quarter how will be factored in. But to me, these are all short terms. When you buy stocks, actually banking stocks, this to me is actually like you buy Genting, right? Why the Genting share getting higher where you cannot lock down? No, the casino also closed. People buy on 6 months ahead. 6 months ahead, economic recovery already. Maybe talking about high interest rate already. So of course, short term wise, all these loans they ask for extension or moratorium, but we're talking about loan amount roughly more less than 20%. So to me, you allow them the extension and then things open in December. My view here is actually, if you are doing F&B, of course you will actually suffer like mad. But to me, hold on to it. We are going through the pandemic, so almost 1 year plus already. You can hold on to it until October, December, things suddenly open up. So your business will actually jump. Okay. That's why I say to people like, for example, Carlsberg, the 2019, the earning per share is $1. You ask me 2022, what will be the earning per share of the Carlsberg? I say the earning per share will jump more than $1 earning per share. Why? People will drink more. Okay, I said to you earlier, in Hokkien we call it impulse. You will drink even more than a normal time. Last time you drink 2 bottles, now you drink 4 bottles. Why? Because you frustrated for so long. Now you open out definitely every night karaoke. All this. Sorry, it's not. Okay. So by kidding here, especially you enjoy. Not only that, hotel stay. This time I will stay in a 5-star hotel. Enjoy because you stay long time for so long already. So you will go holiday to Malaysia. That's why you need to start to see this happen. F&B will recover, everything will recover. So that's why focus on recovery sectors. That's why it should be okay. That's why you ask me, the bad loan, as long as you can stand over to another few more months, then I said, Mr. Wee, I cannot stand over the bank asking for loan. They already say for extension discuss with them or extension. Then I think short-term wise, yeah, some concern. Okay, bank may have some worry, but some actually factor in the stock prices already. So to me, I don't think so. So you need to see beyond the kind of recovery already, where you don't have to wear mask every business all open in November, December, which actually not very far from now, only about 3 months, 3-4 months. Yeah, that's what you. Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your view on the recent steel stocks correction? Do you see that this steel, iron ore, copper rally is sustainable?
You notice that actually the iron ore prices actually recover back. So of course, China doing all the efforts to bring down the prices. I'm not too sure how effective all this. You can see, recover back. So the demand is actually quite high. So I'm not too sure how effective. That's why I said to you, yes, no doubt. Actually, earlier on, actually recover, drop, but now recover back. So to me, you ask me the steel counter will rally or not? I would say wait and see. Okay, wait and see. Okay, at the moment, I think the price actually remain the iron ore price actually remain high. I don't see they will go down to low levels. The demand is quite high. Of course, the China doing all their best to try to bring down all the prices because they are actually facing higher raw material price. Okay.
Okay. Now, Malaysia is currently A3 rated by Moody's with stable outlook. Fitch is at BBB minus with stable ratings outlook, and S&P is on A minus negative ratings. So do you think Malaysia ratings might experience a downgrade, re-rating? So that question is by Ang Beng Kwan.
Okay, my view is that I don't think so. Okay, given March, the S&P actually quite bullish. I mean, the quite okay. They turn negative to stable outlook. So I don't think so. I don't think if we actually able to bring down the cases, then the economy going to recover. To them, essentially they're more towards looking at the overall how we manage our economy. So in general, I would say that a lot of economic sector continue to grow. You notice that, and then more and more people actually vaccinated, and you just need the kind of 3-4 months, things will be quite okay already. And we already order more than enough, 130% more than covered Malaysians already. So coming fast on the Sinovac and the Pfizer, I think that according to Carrie is actually every week about 2 million. Okay, so in July, so I think we should be okay. Okay, that's why later on will depends on how fast you get vaccinated. So to all of us here, maybe like July, you will all get vaccinated already. Then August, September, then the government will chase you to get vaccinated. So all of us here, you panic, all this the AZ, no? Okay. But even though you're waiting for your turn, or by I'll say in July, end of July, you should get vaccinated already, whoever registered, etc. So then the next phase, actually, those not registered yet, the government will chase after you, try to get vaccinated, then give lottery a lot of incentive here and there all this. So my view here is, given that kind of scenario, economy will open up later on, and which actually, the cases drop to 2,000, then certain economic sectors will open. I don't think the rating agency will put us this actually negative view, unless they're talking about political uncertainties. To me, I don't think we have a lot of political uncertainties. I don't think so. Okay.
Okay.
So.
All right. So you mentioned that we should focus on the recovery stock right now. And then the next question, I also noticed that there were a couple of questions on gloves. So like what we have noticed that the ASP of gloves start to decline. I think they peaked in February 2021. But then there's still many research houses who are asking to hold, or they are having their weighting is on overweight on this sector. So what is your view on the glove in short term, both short term and also long term perspective?
Okay, so you see in terms of gloves, okay, let me share with you. This actually the number actually not prepared by me. It's actually prepared by Top Glove, submitted to Hong Kong for listing. Okay, you notice that these are the ASP prices on the glove prices. So actually the prices actually coming down, and Tan Sri Lim he himself also say per month actually dropped by 3 to 5%. So, and you notice that actually the revenue also coming down, profit also start coming down. Of course, he still make a lot of money, but you notice that he make a lot of money. That good results. The results, billions profits, but the price keep on coming down. Okay, and look at the Marsing. Okay, Marsing say that his cost actually glove is actually 35 to 40. Okay, for 1,000. So if you look at this number here, so actually not my numbers. If you look through it, okay, 2022, 23 is actually coming down to 26, 20, 19, 18, all these levels. So my view here is basically the number, you will notice that each time any glove company report their results, very good profit, right? But share price down. Analysts continue to downgrade their target price. Then they continue to say, but you see the target price continue to be lower, no? Target price continue lower, then they say, let me share with you. Analysts say hold means in general say sell. Analysts seldom say sell. When they turn from buy to hold as good as sell already, seldom say sell. Okay, not nice to say. So you must understand. Okay, so you can see the price from 2022. Okay, the level, the price keep on coming down. My view here, this numbers actually prepare is actually November, December last year. So if you look at the current forecast, actually even lower. So to me, it's actually need to be careful. Okay, and you can see from here. Okay, the key point here is basically this is not my forecast. You look at the productions. Yes, no doubt, long-term wise is good, 10%, 10%, 10% increment. But key thing is actually, because of pandemic, everyone actually increased productions. So if you look at normalize the pandemic is over, you see the supply increase. By 2025, you're talking about this type of supply, but you don't look at 10% increase. Then by 2025, we're talking about 531 only. But you have supply of 746. What's going to happen to this assess? So to me, there will be price war. Some glove company may incur losses. Okay, you can see from here, this chart mentioned to you that high level of 2020 gloves will take 5 to 7 years to go back to the original level, to these peak levels. So my view here is actually to buy other sector first. Why you want to buy this sector? Buy other sector first. Okay, Ken?
Okay. Yeah, I guess that would conclude our question and answer session. We have well overshoot the time. So let me just share my screen to tell you what Cantrade webinar has in store for you for the next month. So thank you so much for a very engaging question and answer session. We want to apologize if we are not able to cover your question because there's just too many questions on our screen right now. So, but I've done my best to cover as many questions as I can. So we try to address those that those questions that many people ask. So, okay, yes, for the month of June, Cantrade still has one more webinar for you that involve a company that's going through an IPO. So just watch out from our email. We'll tell you more about this IPO briefing. Okay, that will happen on the next Saturday. All right. So we'll let you know what company it is. So be sure to watch out from our email. So for our next webinar after this IPO will be on this company, small cap technology company called Emulus. Okay, it's a Penang-based company. So we'll do this session live chat with Emulus Holdings Berhad, filling war chest to penetrate the Chinese market. So that will be happening on 1st July 2021. It's a Thursday. So 8:30 to 9:45. I've given you the registration link in the YouTube live chat and also in the Zoom chat group. Please hurry up to register for this session if you want to figure out what Emulus does and what is the future prospect. Okay, so Emulus could be part of the bigger plan of Made in China 2025. Okay, master plan. So be sure to catch Emulus, where we invite the CEO of Emulus, Mr. Ng, to come and join us to do this session. All right, so we'll be able to ask Mr. Ng all questions you want to ask in regards to their ATE machines. All right, so after live chat with Emulus Berhad, so we'll be doing live chat with Hibiscus Petroleum Berhad. So a 10-year growth story. We have also invited their group managing director, Mr. Kenneth Gerard Pereira, to come and join us to this session. So you have any question you want to ask Hibiscus, and Hibiscus recently won a contract, acquire some oil and gas asset from the Spanish oil major, right? Then you'll be able to ask Mr. Kenneth any question in relation to the acquisition. So following Hibiscus, we also have one live chat with an EMS provider, which is Pi Industrial Berhad. So opening the frontier in automation and robotics. Similarly, we have invited the managing director of Pi to come and share with us the company outlook. All right, as they engage more in automation, AI, and robotics. So be sure to mark these dates in your calendar. We'll let you know how you can register for these Cantrade webinars soon. So with that, I want to thank, before I thank the speaker, just let you know, if you have not had a Kenanga Sharing account, you may go to this website, www.cantrade.com.my/open-account-form to put in your interest. So Kenanga will arrange a friendly dealer representative to attend to your account opening request. So yeah, for those of you who have not had a Cantrade account, yes, this is the place for you to fill up your interest. So with that, I want to thank all of you here for tuning in to today's session, Stock Market Outlook for the second half 2021. Thank you, Mr. Uy, for sharing your perspective on how the market and economy will move, okay, for the next half of the year and what we should look out for, okay, for all the potential opportunities. So I hope all of you here who are tuning in tonight have gained enormous value out of this webinar. So see you all again in our next Can Trade webinar. Bye, everybody.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, so this is Shen Chu signing off.